Hello guys, welcome to TIG King YouTube channel. TIG King shares TIG welding skills for people who want to learn how to TIG weld. The second lesson for today is how to feed TIG wire for beginners. Many people think that the torching movement is the most important skill when it comes to TIG welding, but that is not entirely the case. Good wire feeding technique can be more important than good torch movement in many situations. One of the challenges in TIG welding for beginners is to feed the TIG wire consistently by hand. You may have some previous experience with MIG or stick welding. In MIG welding process, a filler wire comes out of the MIG torch by machine. Stick welding process is also the same. You put a stick electrode to the torch and weld it. The torch and filler rod are together. However, in the TIG welding process, the TIG torch and feeding wire are separate. You hold the TIG torch one hand, and the other hand, you have to feed the TIG filler wire. This is what makes TIG welding significantly harder to learn compared to other styles of welding out there. There are many different ways of feeding the TIG wire. Some people just grab the wire with the thumb and one finger and just dab or feed it. Some people use 3 fingers and thumb. Some people use 2 fingers and thumb. There is no right way, there is no perfect answer. If you can feed it consistently and comfortably, that is the best way. But in this showcase, I will show you my favorite way and how to practice it. But all of the fundamentals can be applied to whichever style and method you prefer. I personally use my thumb, index, and middle finger. I put the wire between my thumb and index finger and pinch wire with the first 2 fingers lightly. Your thumb is the wire feeder. First 2 fingers are the fixture. Your thumb moves forward to feed the wire and back up for another feeding. Push it forward and back up, push it forward and back up. I told you the first 2 fingers are the fixture, so do not move the index and middle fingers. Just pinch it lightly to get the wire tips applied at a target point without being shaky. Some people move the first 2 fingers too. However, I do not recommend it because the tip of the wire is too shaky. So, when you weld it, the TIG wire might be away from the shielding gas zone. Sometimes you have to feed the wire very quickly or very slowly to control the amount of the feeding wire. Mostly it depends on the status of the welding puddle. You can control the amount of the feeding wire by changing your thumb speed and movement. For example, let's suppose you weld a plate root pass. You feed the wire steadily and start to feel that the welding puddle is becoming watery. Now it's time you speed up the feeding wire. On the other hand, if the puddle is too thick to penetrate, you have to slow down the feeding wire. Please practice fitting the TIG wire whenever you have a chance. You don't have to come to a school or a welding shop. You can practice at home watching TV. Just be careful of the safety. I recommend you to bend the wire tip not to poke your or somebody else's eyes. Now, I will let you know the difference between lay wire and depth wire method. First, what is the lay wire technique? You put the TIG filler wire in the base weld pool all the time. This method is very useful when used with the working cup technique, and working cup is mostly used for pipe welding. That's why most TIG pipe welders use a working cup and lay wire technique. What is the depth wire technique? Unlike lay wire technique, you dab the wire into the weld puddle at a regular rhythm with consistent torch movement. Dab wire technique is mostly used for aluminum welding and aerospace industry. One important thing is you should not pull the filler rod away from the shielding gas zone, or the wire would be contaminated. No matter which of the two techniques you use, the most important thing is to maintain consistent fitting and torch movement. Let's take a look at my final pass for pipe welding. You can see I feed the TIG wire consistently per every cycle of TIG torch movement. On the other hand, my college boy learns TIG welding from me. As we see, he is not consistent in feeding wire and working cup. His torch movement and feeding wire is not synchronized. Why? He needs more experience, he needs more practice. His brain knows what to do, but his hands are not ready yet. It is like playing musical instruments such as drums and piano. You can understand music, but you cannot play the piano without lots of practice. There is no shortcut to becoming a good welder. Just do practice and build up experience. Thanks for watching TIG King's second episode about fitting TIG wire. If you think this helps you, please subscribe and like. Next lesson is about challenges for stainless steel TIG weld. Thank you.